Confined in the house I built by my own hands, where I stay locked in with keys inside. And the only source of light I have is slowly fading. As the hour goes by and the darkness draws nigh, every bright idea I had of escaping this self-imprisonment goes down with the sun, passing through the tiny openings on my barricaded windows to all the rooms I eventually engulfed by darkness. Suddenly, I am overtaken by a feeling of deja vu. As a child, this was my worst fear, and it seems it cast a long-lasting spell on my mind that slumbered over the years and gave me control for a while, but is now turning back up. It got me hooked like a drug, to a point I begin to make out figures, externalizing from the shadows in the dark, terrifying corners. But could it be? Could it be the monsters I always imagined were hiding under my bed, never left even as I grew older, merely evolved, picked a room in my mind and settled in? Have they decided to come out and play? Growing up, I often felt uncomfortable opening up and kept the things I had going on in my life to myself. The society I grew up in taught me that vulnerability was a sign of weakness, so I built thick walls around my heart and couldn't trust anyone to let them in, even when I needed help. But truth be told, I am afraid of letting people into the nightmare of a reality I live in, where my challenges and fears have got the better of me. All my attempts to escape this personified hellhole only leads to another war, and I fall into a downward spiral. I feel I'm about to lose my mind. My efforts at freedom are like a loaded gun pointed to my head, and I am locked in a loop. So I get to pull the trigger over and over again. It seems my life has been kissed by death. I'm as good as dead yet. I try so hard to impress the people around me, all at the expense of my mental health. And the saddest reality is that I am the architect of my own unhappiness, and this occupational loneliness will only lead me to a burnout because I am trapped in the house I built by my own hands, where I stay locked in with keys inside, and the only source of light I have is slowly fading. As the hour goes by and the darkness draws nigh, every bright idea I had of escaping the self-imprisonment goes down with the sun. When I couldn't live with my own failure, that's the room where it would always lead me. My end game. The things I kept running away from and couldn't accept have finally caught up with me, and at the snap of their fingers I transition effortlessly into states of mind I haven't mastered to escape, states of heightened emotions and turmoil, a channel of inflamed rage and anxiety. See, all these feelings I have tried to suppress, mainly by distracting myself doing things that I love, which would often make me happy, but I am standing in a pool of my own blood. I am a reluctant hero. In such desperate situations, I have failed to seek out connections to help me battle this evil called stress. I lose to self. I lose to self. And it is in those moments when I realize that the only thing I need is love, but silly me, I confuse it with a desire for outward approval and recognition and lose myself to become what I do, as though my life only has meaning when other people notice me. But I am an anomaly, and this is not considered normal, because I can turn off my humanity switch, flip personalities like I am two-faced, and immerse myself in this work just to meet the expectations of my community. And you are right, partly right, to think that I am only doing this for validation when I voice out my unspoken thoughts. but remain true to each word that escapes my mouth when I tap into an eternal source of inspiration for these words, for these rhymes I speak, not for money, not for fame, but for the confidence. So when I dig into the core of my being and bring to surface stories never written or told before, I am giving you a part of me. So if you would think for 1 second that I am doing this for myself, then you are probably mistaken. Just as easily as I can choose to be a lone wolf, but considering the amount of pain I would have to endure that will either turn me into a beast, I choose to learn from it. And so can you. And be the leader of yourself pack. You can be the leader of yourself pack. Because nobody can imagine what I have had to give up just to get to this place when I know deep down my heart that I am only getting started. They say success doesn't come without blood. So they encourage us to patch up, push till you get there, right? When we shoot at our limitations and the bullet bounces back, they tell us, they comfort us with fake it till you make it, right? But since I am picky with my associations, I choose isolation as my company because my business is to address these issues that society is afraid to address. So there I go again, back into the confinement of the house I built by my own hands, where I stay locked in with keys in my hands, and the only source of light I had that was slowly dying is gaining its life, slowly glowing, and as the hour goes by, the darkness flees, and I can now pen down these bright ideas for all to see. A stable image we all portray, yet our houses are in shambles from trauma that never left. And we are locked into play, pretend adulthood, but with a prolonged interim state where we experience the worst part of this crisis makes it a hard chasm to cross. So while we are bringing our vision to life, considering the commitment, the financial stress, and lonely hours that would definitely take a toll on our relationships and result in negative thoughts and emotions, as well as mind wandering that is very detrimental to our well-being. It's very important that we seek out connections with like-minded people.